Hi, this is BS of the Week, episode 16. I'm your host, Patrick Driggett, coach of the Berlin Fire in the Big Sky, and I am joined by my friend,
Ben Duggan, coach of the Carno Sharks in the Big Sky.
the very well performing Cornell Sharks, right?
Ooh, don't say that. Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Okay, I won't jinx it, but I think that they're on the up. They're doing well, trending well.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thanks for coming, Ben. We haven't had you. I think we had you early last season, right? You came in with a couple other coaches, and that was
Mm-hmm.
really awesome. And appreciate you coming back again to support the program and be a guest. Yeah,
Delighted to be back.
yeah, we're in the middle of our towards the end now. It's looking up. We're at the end of our break, our
Ye-
mid-season or early mid-season break. But hopefully we get a bunch of games in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited about that. So
Yeah, I've been quite itchy over the last sort of few weeks, to be honest. Every time, sort of checking on a Friday, going like, "Is it this week? No, it's not this week. Isn't
yeah,
it? No, it's not this week." And so I'm looking forward to Friday, and hopefully it goes quickly, and we can get some results.
yeah. Hopefully everybody gets their check marks, green check marks. Like you've had
Yeah, double
no
check,
no
triple check.
excuses, right?
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
yeah. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do some top threes because we don't have games to review, and we've already talked about what we think is gonna happen. So let's talk about players and coaches. I Let's talk about top three players. Ben and you and I went through, we reviewed some things. Oh, sorry, quick note. Our friend Kev isn't here just due to some technical issues he's dealing with. We tried to get it working and it wasn't, so we're just carrying on. So anyway, Kev, we'll miss you, and we'll see you next week. So the first thing is top three players of the season so far. We've only had two games, but we've seen some interesting results, some really cool, some things. I think there's some players here that are interesting, right? There's one that I don't think will be any surprise, but two that I think you and I both, when we were looking through the stats, were pleasantly surprised. So, the first one, this is in no particular order. The first one is Gudjian of the Knights, quarterback. He's age 4, 115 QBR over two games. 75% completion, 0 interceptions. He's only taken 10 yards of sacks. I mean, I don't hear anybody talking about Gudjian, but I feel like we should, right, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a first round pick, and he's just been sort of working his way through for the Knights, performing really, really well. And this is a great start for him. Like I say, high completion, no interceptions, quite low sacks, I suppose, as well.
Mm-hmm.
The one touchdown is kind of a little bit disappointing, but hopefully he'll find his range soon and start getting the end zone. But it's nice to see a nice QB performing well for the Knights.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some other standouts that we'll talk about at the end. I think there's some obvious choices, but I think Gudjian certainly is doing well for the Knights. Not surprising. Next, we have Hooker for the Generals. He age 4, just absolute monster. 443 yards, 6.07 yards per carry. What I don't think a whole lot needs to be said. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's picked up exactly where he left off last season, wasn't he? With the 30 odd touchdowns, 2,000 yards. It's just I think I think he's going to carry on doing exactly what he's going to do, and Alex knows exactly what exactly is going to happen there. I mean, to be honest, I'm quite scared of him. I do think that the Generals are going to do very, very, very well this season, and fingers crossed they can. I know they didn't quite manage to beat the Rivets last week, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm really backing them. I really am backing them.
That's great. Yeah, I'd love to know his level.
So would
Yeah,
I.
I think everybody would. Not that I could do anything about it. And then, last, the 66ers have really surprised us. And I think one player that's really helped them, Nagata. Four interceptions, 21-yard return average. Great
Yeah,
cornerback. And he's age 1. Age 1.
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. And
We're going to be talking about him for a couple seasons, I think, huh?
yeah, absolutely. And I think I mentioned this sort of in the draft talk that we did last season, and I said, there was a lot of players there that had this strength, this extra strength on a cornerback or on a wide receiver, and that was going to be advantageous. And look, 2 seasons in, two games in, 4 interceptions, huge returns, and like you say, he's only age 1. I mean, it's yeah, that's going to be scary. If you run the long pass, you're in danger. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, look out against the 66ers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great pickup, and surprise 66ers with a top three player in my opinion for the season so far.
And well
So
deserved.
yeah, absolutely. And a couple of other ones that we found that were interesting, honorable mention: Volkov for the Buccaneers, the only outside linebacker on the sack top 10. Looks like a great player. Thinker for your Sharks. Wonderful DT that seems to be doing a lot of work there. Emu for the Rivets, no surprise. Absolute workhorse. And Pogue for the Rapiers. Right, great quarterback. Statistically has more yardage than Gudgeon, but I think really I'm looking at that QBR that really puts Gudgeon as both kind of an outsider that I think is interesting. But Pogue definitely deserves an honorable mention here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ben, I think you were going to talk about kind of your top three coaches in the Big Sky right now.
Yeah, like I say, I think it's difficult to do a top three or coaches of the season so far. It's a bit too early, only 2 seasons in, and plus we've got a few new coaches joining sort of very recently in the last, like this season, last season, and that. So I think for me, I'm gonna try and do a best in the league, the top three of the coaches we've got. So first and foremost, the rules for this: Conrad's not getting a mention. Conrad is not being mentioned at all.
I love Conrad. He's always so kind. But yeah, I mean, we can't go by win rate, I guess, right? So.
Well, yeah, and but he's a genius, and I give him all the, but he's got enough accolades. He's got enough accolades. He doesn't need any more. So
yeah, he'll cry into his bowl cups, like his bowl trophies.
All 5 of them. He's got a 6th space up there that's just waiting to be filled.
Yeah. So, actually, he had already labeled accolades from Ben. So he'll have to wait.
Yeah, part of me feels like maybe he's a little bit disappointed he didn't get the MVP last season when I run that. So, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I thought about it, it's a bit sad really, because there's a couple of coaches who really should have been in the sort of top 3 that have unfortunately left, like Andy Bate with the Eagles, fantastic coach. I mean, really a top 10 coach in across all leagues. Richard Klein, who managed the Bucks, a bit of a nemesis of mine for a fair few seasons when I joined, because we were bitter rivals for a long time. He's a top 20, top 25 coach. He's brilliant. So they've moved on to pastures new. So yeah. So when I sort of thought about it, I thought it came up with, not unsurprisingly, I think I've picked the 3 longest serving coaches in the Big Sky, unsurprisingly. So where do they fall? Number 3 is going to be Lee Dunstan, Southern statesman.
My nemesis, and I love him. What a great person.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed the Statesman forever, and just some of the stats that he's got is incredible. I mean, like we're looking at here, he's in his 28th season, 6 divisional wins, 4 PFC championships, 1 Sky Bowl, which is really good. 20 winning seasons, that's bonkers. 9 of those seasons were sort of a 7-3 or better record. I mean, that's great, and I think I've gone on to the coaches' all-time sort of win-loss records, and I don't know if that's been updated recently, but from at the time of recording, what was showing, he's got a 53% win rate, 156 wins, 136 losses. That's pretty damn good, pretty good. Then when we get to the first and second, this was really tough. If you look at my bit of paper here, I've literally changed the numbers around so many times between these 2 coaches, trying to pick one, but I think I've settled on it. Number 2 for me, James Allen, the Exmouth Titans. Phenomenal coach. I think he's done 21 seasons with the Titans. In his first sort of stint with them, when they first formed, he had 11 wins with seasons of 8-2 and better. Just monstrously good. 14 divisional wins, 4 PFC championships. His win rate is off the charts, 63%. He's ranked 25th, I think it said, 25th of all-time coaches.
Wow.
I mean, absolutely brilliant. I mean, a genius in the game, really is. And he's brought out some cracking players. I've got here RB Sicko, 5th all-time rushing for the Big Sky. Tuskegee, which I remember him playing playing really well, top 20 all-time receiving. He's had some great players. The only thing that sort of put him in that number 2 list is he just doesn't have that Sky Bowl Doesn't
Right.
have that Sky Ball ring yet, which, I really want him to get, honestly, and he deserves it. I really want him to get it. So at number one, if by deduction, hopefully some people worked it out. Tom Watt, Beverly Bay Packers, just I think, yeah, let me read out the stats. 134 wins, 65 losses, a 67% win rate. That's one of the best ones I think I've seen. 5 divisional wins, 4 PFC championships, 2 Sky Bowls, 14 seasons with a winning record, and 11 consecutive seasons at 7-3 or better.
Wow. Yeah.
That's mad stats, impossible stats. And he had QB Kramer, who I will think should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be sat on top of the Hall of Fame as one of the best players to ever grace the gridiron field, to be honest. He had the mad attributes, second all-time passing, absolutely brilliant. And he had Prometheus, wide receiver, another top 20 wide receiver, just an absolute monster of the game. And I think he very much deserves the number one spot right now. So yeah, that was a very tough top 3 for me to pick. Really, really was tough. It was hard.
Really appreciate you doing that. Those are some great people, and they've contributed so much to the game. And I'm glad they're here. I'm glad they continue to be here. And
absolutely,
yeah. Thanks for calling them out and naming them here, so we can all kind of
and I'm sure I'll probably
yeah.
There you go. They got some accolades. I'm sure I'll get the emails from them saying like, "I should have been number one. How dare you?"
Oh well, I don't envy your inbox. I just I just talk crap here. No, I don't really talk crap, but no, it's great lads. I think any one of them just to be mentioned, I think it's an honor, and they're wonderful people too. So
yeah, and to be honest, I mean, you look at them this season. Like apart from the Statesman, I think Chris discussed it last week, and you've talked about it over the last few episodes. I'm hoping that the Statesman sort of pull the bootstraps up.
I honestly think I really could see them going 8-2. Like yeah. I don't think I'm as concerned as others, especially after you got his motivation coach. I think this week everybody's going to be. I don't think it was going to be a problem.
Bad luck. Be pleasantly surprised.
It's going to be a good turnaround. He still has to go against the Fire, and I don't think he's has any problem winning those. So, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Appreciate you coming. We've been something we started new this season is interviewing everyone, and so had a couple questions for you. So first off, obviously, your years, you've just talked about tenure with some of these people. Your years have started to add up. And last few years, you've really showed a big improvement in the Sharks record. What do you, it feels like it's about the last 3 seasons or so. Like, what do you kind of attribute that sudden upswing in the last 3 seasons to?
Well, I think Chris kind of sort of mentioned it last week. In fact, that when he first joined the game, he said he made it up as he went along for like a season, and then sort of realized he needed to do something else. So yeah, he kind of sort of made it up for 1 season. I made it up for about 8. I literally came into the game and I thought to myself, right, I think I know what I'm doing. I'll throw things together. And you can tell by my record since I joined in season 25, it was sort of up, down, but not really going anywhere. I would draft in big players and drafting players with good levels and QSDs, stick them in there and go, right, I'm going to start winning. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, I'll trade away all my picks and get in a load of like good veterans, stick them in, and then I'll go winning. No, it didn't work. So yeah, I think I made every possible mistake. But for me, I think the one big thing, Chris mentioned it, and I'll reiterate again, is a mentor. Getting a mentor for this game is absolutely critical. I got my mentor, and as soon as I do that, it's just a brilliant way to soundboard and try and correct some of those little errors that you make that kind of actually make a big difference. So when I got my mentor, I basically took my plan of what my game plan, sent it to them and said, this is what I'm trying to do. And they looked at it and sort of went, what are you doing? You need, if you want to be doing this, you need this formation, and you need to do this, and this, you need this QB. And that immediately, like if I had that, I think like as you can see with Chris, 1 season, not going too well. And then once he's got his mentor and he's got himself set, everything starts to flow nice and easily. And that's what happened to me about 3-4 seasons ago. I suddenly got the mentor, gave him my plan, reconjigged what I needed to do. And then sort of from then I had this plan and go, this is what I'm trying to do. And from there, it all just kind of slotted into place. So for me, one of the first bits of advice that I got when I joined was, I can't remember who exactly it was. I think it was Richard Klein sort of said to me first. He said, find something that you want to be good at. If it's run flat, run line, pass deep, short pass, whatever. Find what you want to do and just focus on that and be great at it. And I tried doing that, didn't kind of accomplish it. And I think the way the game is played now is you need to find that one thing, be great at it. And once you have got it, try and add something else into the mix.
Yeah.
Try and just add that one extra little thing.
You have to make people choose their stances, I think,
exactly,
because that's part of that rock, paper, scissors, right? Like idea, like if I over index on this, it allows that you make them make choices.
Exactly. So if you're only about the short zone, everyone knows you can play short zone, and it's pretty obvious you play short zone. Most people who are switched on in this game will go to their defense and go, right, there we go, pass, drop, shoot, short, there we go. Just need to do that, and that's it, game over. I know I've won. So you do need to add that little extra in, and that's pretty much what I did. I did that step. I go, right, make sure this one thing is great, and I managed to get it there, and then it's like, right, now add this extra thing in, and now I've got this sort of nice balanced sort of team, as some people have probably mentioned. And it's sort of working quite well at the moment. The problem is that you've got Conrad, who's got a nice balanced offense, a great defense, and a great special team. You're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. And I suppose the one last bit of advice I could probably give is, once you've got your mentor, and once you've got your plan, and you have this direction that you're going in, is have faith, stick with it, keep doing your coaching, draft the way you want to draft. Don't feel like you've got to draft a particular player, or you have to draft something. If there's no one in the draft class that's interesting to you, look at the next one, move on. That's what I did on a couple of seasons ago, and it turned out really well for me. Stick to the plan, and it will start paying off.
Awesome. Yeah, well, rooting for you. Ben,
Thank you.
You're looking like a real contender this year. Hopefully those things, I obviously knock on wood, but hope that so your success continues, and we're debating how far into the playoffs you can get. So speaking of that,
so am I.
Speaking of that, are the Sharks bowl ready?
If you asked me pre-season, before we got started, I would have said yes. I was really, really proud of the team. Aging went well, drafted really well. I had this plan in my head, as I did. I had this plan. I thought, if this all goes according to plan, we could make this work. I think we could get into that bowl. I really, really do, especially with how we performed against the Giant Hornets last season, getting into the championship, the LFC championship, not quite managing it against the Statesmen. Like, you know what, this year could be our year. Now, sat at week 2, waiting for week 3. I don't think it is going to happen. I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but we've been struggling with a bit of coaching over the last few weeks. It's not going as well as I'd hoped it was going to go. Our injury list is not bad, but it's not great. We've got a few players out who are going to cause us to struggle a little bit. So unless they all suddenly bounce back from injury, there's that. But I think the main thing for me is the schedule my schedule has actually got a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
So like the Eagles have got a new coach. I'd made that my key game. And I thought maybe with a new coach coming in, potentially could be a bit disrupted, maybe not perform as well. Eagles are on fire. They're doing great under new coach. So that's sort of a worry for me. The Buccaneers were sort of being rebuilt. Adrian was doing his rebuild, and I thought maybe I had one more season before he was going to go for it. I think actually he might have done it fairly well, and I don't think it's not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. The Irish are still holding on as well. They're still performing really well. I've been saying for probably a few seasons that I think the Irish need to just rebuild, start again, get this stuff back up again. But he's still firing out good performances. So there's that. The Burning Fire, they're on fire. So
it's fake. It's fake.
No, I've got faith in that you might surprise in week 10. So
I'm going to be 3-7. I think I'm going to be 3-7 at the end of the season.
Oh, you're so pessimistic. Yeah, one of those wins is going to be against me. But anyway, it's a little bit unknown, but a bit like the Rushmores as well. If Kevin was here, I'd say the same thing. That the Rushmores, Kevin's been saying, it's not been going too well, but I think he's maybe playing down a little bit. So there's a few games where I think, you know what, we're going to do this. And then there's a few games where I'm like, I'm going to be nervous going into it and I'm not 100% sure it's going to go all the way. So for me, I think 7-3, 8-2, I think we'll make it to the playoffs. That's my hope. We might make it into the championship, the NFC championship playoff again, but I don't think we're going to get all the way to the bowl. And if we do, we'll probably see the rivets there, and then it probably won't go too well. But hey, I say I'm an eternal pessimist, but if it all comes off and it happens the way I want it to, I will be ecstatic.
That's great. Well, rooting for you as I do all our coaches, but we really Sharks are fun to watch, and I really appreciate you've been super elevating your game, and it's obvious, and so yeah, I look forward to that. So my favorite question that I've been asking is R&R, they're back from their break and they reach out to you and they say, Ben, we need you to design next year's draft class and we'll give you the first pick of the draft for doing that. Who are you picking?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Now that is tough because it's obviously going to be an elite player, obviously. You know what? Based on the sort of the thing that we've been just been talking about with those top three players, I mean, I look at like Nagata and the fact that he's that 80 quickness, 10 strength, 10 technical. I mean, it's no surprise I play long pass. Everybody knows that. It's
right.
Not difficult. I felt like if I have an 80 quick, 10 strength wide receiver elite with all the peripheral vision, sticky hands, well man as well, no injuries to him. I think that would pretty much probably complete my offense, and I think that would be pretty special. I think that's where I would go with it for certain.
That's awesome. Yeah, great. Yeah. Well, thank you for answering all your questions. I will also take your first draft pick. As someone who's running long pass, mine's more of a secondary thing, but I enjoy running long pass, especially with my run game. It's a nice accessory because it's like stack the run. I'm gonna try to get a couple over your head, and it works okay. I'm not quite there yet on levels, but certainly thank you for that. Thank you for answering those questions so honestly and everything, and for being a guest today. Sorry it didn't work out with Kev, but we really appreciate you being here. And
no problem at all.
On the program. Yeah, so that's it this week. Looking forward to waking up and seeing some games this weekend. That'll be fun. I'm excited to see all of those coming up. I hope everybody has an awesome week. Has good luck to everyone with their CPs and training. Since it's been a couple weeks since we've been able to do that, and get those 4 green checks. And I hope everyone has an awesome week. Bye.
Bye.